need to know. All right, well, here's how I'm going to find out. I'm going to go to the page where you comment. And you say all the wonderful things that you say, and you ask all the amazing questions that you ask each and every Wednesday here at noon Pacific on this Facebook page. I'm just a checking. You'll notice that we have new music this week because, last week, as I told you, hello, Caroline. Or Carolyn. Is it Carolyn or Caroline? I feel very Brian Regan right now. Y'all know what I'm talking about? Brian Regan, the comedian. How he talks about, Caroline, Carolyn, Caroline, all that. Anyway, well, Carolyn or Caroline, write the word line or write the word Lynn so I know how to say it. And you are more than welcome for me being online tonight. Being online tonight. And Steve is here and Jerry is here. So now, again, I don't know whether these comments are updating appropriately or not. It's just been a weird Facebook journey recently. As of late, the comments don't update. Now, Lynn told me, Lynn Rose, who's in the next room, she told me that I don't even need these comments up here. But I like them. Plus, I like them. Don't you like them? Don't you like seeing what you write up there? And then sometimes also when I go back and watch the video, I can see comments that I missed if I don't decide to watch it on my phone, which is cool because then the comments play back in real time. Like how, once again, I'm getting weird. It doesn't matter. Hey, look. Every Wednesday, so Terry just commented, and yet, see, it's not showing up. See what I'm up against here? I wish there was a way. There's got to be a way. Caroline says everything's fine on her line. Caroline, now I know. Ladies and gentlemen, we now know it's Caroline, and that is what we shall all call her from now on. I just got my Facebook notification that I'm broadcasting. You all know about that, right? Let's go up. Let's just real quick look up here on this part of the post. Now, I know it all runs together. I'm going to see if I can fix that. That's a long paragraph. But right around here, where my cursor is, if you click that link where it says BL Facebook at the end, then you'll get a notification on your Facebook messages or notifications, whatever, that I'm on live. How nice is that? So you don't have to remember. Or if you click this next one here, BL Desktop, let me get out of the way. This one right here. Then you can get notified on your desktop. You'll be sitting there on Word or Pages or whatever Linux people use. And suddenly there'll be this little notification in the corner and it'll say, hey, Bob Doyle's here. He's waiting on you personally. You better get over there. He's going to answer questions. You're going to miss him. All right, that's weird to see my little face there. So let's scroll down. And you're linked into the USA. So hi, Connie. Nice to have you here. Thanks for returning. So again, if you're new here, welcome. If you're not new here, have you shared this broadcast yet? It doesn't look like anyone shared it. It doesn't even look like I've shared it. And I think that if I did, it's going to all the wrong places because I forgot to fix that. So this might be going to the Bob Doyle Show page and all these other pages, although... Now, Lynn, you can't send me messages during the broadcast because it'll show up on the show. All right, so I've learned my lesson. I'm going to do something now that I've never done before. I'm going to turn off Facebook chat just for now. Hold on. I hope this isn't a mistake. All right. But then that way we don't risk seeing messages to me that are, well, quite frankly, none of your business. No, I'm kidding. Just, all right. Okay, so I don't know what to do about these comments updating except to scroll up and down like that. I'm going to find out what the answer to that is. But I think really, well, I was going to say the ultimate answer is that we won't be doing this in Facebook anymore. But I think the Bob Doyle Show will definitely be taken out of Facebook at some point. This show probably stay here for quite a while. So I got to work out this whole getting your comments updated. I think for right now, I will take the comments off the screen. Well, I vanished there for a second. I was abducted. I've been gone for 4 years. And they put me right back here in the middle of this broadcast. Where was I? Wow. All right. So this way I'll just have you pop in every now and then. But look, here's how it all works. You ask me questions about the law of attraction in the comments that you're not seeing at this moment. And then I answer them. That's how it works. So any question you've ever had about why is this not working? How do I get this to work? What's the deal with the law of attraction anyway? You're in the right place. You don't have to pay me for coaching. You're not buying my programs. You're just going straight to the source. Okay, Lynn says she'd rather have the nature scene behind me. It is a nice scene. There's no question about that. That right there, I wish I was broadcasting from right there. Because number one, I think it would be a little bit cooler than it is in here. Am I right, Lynn Rose? It is hot in here these days. See, she actually said, I'm not letting you see it, but she said, yay, turning off the chat. Hello, Dawn. I have to shout this out to Misty. Now, she's not here yet. She hasn't said hello. She hasn't appeared, but she's been here on several occasions. I happened to notice that last time, you know how you can do emoticons, hearts and smiles? She did an angry face. So the codependent part of me must know what prompted the angry face. I thought, well, maybe it's because she said hello and I didn't say hi back because, I don't always see these freaking comments. Man, I wish there was a way. There's got to be a way that I can see this in real time updated. But I guess now is not the time to be trying to figure it out, huh? I should be answering your law of attraction questions. Although, wait a minute. Did Lynn Rose ask me a question? Hey, Kyle. See, I know Kyle will have some questions because Kyle messaged me before. So we're all going to benefit from the questions that Kyle is going to ask that I'm sure that a lot of you have but are being too shy to ask. And Lynn says, how do you do what it takes, even if it's something you may not feel like doing, but can and will up-level and improve your life? So now, before I answer that question, Lynn, is this a question about me or for you? I know that Lynn and I are both in this massive verge of expansion professionally. We're both taking on whole new levels. I'm going the Boundless Living virtual reality route. She's got all sorts of amazing opportunities in front of her. So I think we both are facing, and probably some of you have faced, that that if you've got an opportunity, there's something there, the universe has plopped something in your lap, and you know that there's some action that you need to take to get there, and then you find, and it's the thing you really want, right? But then you lose the motivation. You don't feel like doing it, You just don't feel like doing it. But you know that it's something that will, like she says, up-level and improve your life. Well, obviously, now I think Lynn already knows the answer to this question, but I'll answer this for the benefit of all. This is your ego screaming. It doesn't like change. Up-leveling, all it means to them is it doesn't mean any them, your egos. All it means to your ego is that change is about to take place and it doesn't know what's happening. It doesn't know what to expect. Change. No. Things the way they are. That's what I need. So whether or not it's a good change or a bad change or whatever, it doesn't want it. So you're going to have resistance, especially if it's a big change towards something huge, because your ego is going to say, no, that's too much. That's too much. You just need to just do what you've been doing. You're fine. Don't worry about the fact that you're stressed all the time and that it's not really working for you. Don't think about that so much. Just think about the fact that you just get to keep doing what you've been doing and you don't have to get out of your comfort zone. That's the way the ego works. So I think really recognizing it for what it is and then doing the whole, what is it costing you to listen to that voice, to not do it? If you can rationalize on a piece of paper, why am I not taking this action? And there's more pros in that list than the cons. Okay, well then maybe it's not the time to take the action. But probably what's going to happen is you're going to see all the benefits of taking the action, and what's going to be in the why wouldn't I take this action? It's all going to be a lot of ego stuff. I don't want it. It's going to be hard. I don't know, that kind of stuff. And that's the kind of thing that stops us all the time. So just recognizing that, rising above it, and being clear on again, it's clarity on your vision. Will this thing, can you look at it and go, yep, this will definitely bring me closer. Then you know that whatever this voice is that's saying don't do it is BS, ego, scared, fear, whatever, and you're better than that, right? So you move through it. Okay, so now I have to see if I can refresh these a little bit. I don't know. But it seems like I was answering another question. Was I? Hold on, I'm just seeing if I can update these questions one more time. Dawn says, Caroline says, look at all I missed. Okay, let's just start with Kyle at the bottom, and then we'll move our way up. Okay, so Kyle says, if the law of attraction is mastered, is the law of attraction, if mastered, going to take away all the things that make you stress out in life, so that if you wanted to live and be happy like when you had that feeling as when you were a kid, you know that everyone knows that happy feeling that you're, okay, wait, this is a really long sentence. If you're asking that if you master the law of attraction that you'll never have a stressful moment and you'll be childlike all the time, I would say that that's unlikely. It's about how you deal with the stress, how you let it affect you, and how it impacts your life. We are human beings. We are designed to respond to things like fear and stress, these things that we call negative emotions. It's about how do we hang on to them. You know, as adults, somewhere along, like kids let go of stuff, like, right? They fall down, they cry for a sec, they're done. That's how we could do life. But they do cry for a second, right? They do have the moment of, and then they move through it. Kids are awesome at moving through it. Well, we're just bigger kids, but we've got layers and layers of crap about what's appropriate. How long should we hang on to something? You know, well, this is a bad thing, and it has all these implications, and and that makes our stress level rise to meet what our beliefs around that are that the kids don't have. So they're able to let stuff go because they don't have this automatic, protracted, play out a scenario in their head that creates the stress and makes the stress keep going. So someone's calling me right now? What? Don't they know I'm doing a show? I was going to put it in Do Not Disturb and I forgot. My bad. Look at that. I thought it updated by itself. It didn't. So no, Kyle, it's not about this whole law of attraction thing. There's so many people that have unrealistic expectations, like it's going to make you above human. No, what's really happening for the most part is I think that most of us are living far, far, far below human potential, right? What we can do, what we've been born with the ability to do, right? So we're kind of we're living below that. We're too impacted by stress. We're too impacted by blah, blah, blah. I could go on and on about that. So this whole journey of self-discovery, law of attraction, personal development in general, is to try to bring us back up to what our true potential is, not make us superhuman or more than what we're supposed to be. So we're not here to eliminate negative feelings or take humanity out of who we are. But can we be happier than we are right now? Absolutely. Can we deal with stress a lot more efficiently? Absolutely. And understanding the law of attraction and the impact that stress and all of those negative thoughts and feelings have on you, absolutely can help you do that a lot quicker. Because you start to realize the truth that I don't need to hang on to this stress. I don't even need to be stressed about this situation. I've learned to be stressed about this situation, but is it a fact that I must be stressed about this situation and that I must let it ruin my day? Probably not. Is it natural? Yes. Is it natural to hold on to it forever? No, but we've learned that as a program. All right, so let's move up to Caroline's. I have asked Law of Attraction to come to Las Vegas in a few weeks' time. I'm nervous, but I know this will uplift me in many ways. I absolutely do not know what that means. What do you mean, Caroline? You've asked the Law of Attraction to come to Las Vegas. Oh, wait, you want to go to Vegas? I think that's what you're saying. You want to go to Vegas, so you're trying to use the law of attraction to create a trip to Vegas. That's what I'm guessing. So here's what I would say to you and anyone else who's trying to use the law of attraction to get a specific thing. And I would have to ask you more in-depth questions like, well, why Vegas? What's the deal with Vegas? Is it just because it's a fun thing? You just want to go? Is there a higher purpose? Whatever. What are the beliefs that you have about going to Vegas? What are your preconceived notions about how hard it will be? What kind of miracle it would take to make it happen? We need to identify why you want to be there. And we need to identify what your current feelings and beliefs are about being there. I'm going to get to an overall point here eventually after I go through a few of these questions. And I've kind of already touched on it a little bit, but we'll get back to it. So Dawn says she has a great opportunity. She's tired of waiting for things to come in. I guess I don't have enough context to... Oh, see, Lynn. Okay, so Lynn, don't ask questions on my behalf. Don't ask questions on my behalf. I'm going to tell you all. I'm going to share. Because she did that. Because she threw it out in the open. I'm going to share what she's talking about here. And if the person who wrote me this email is watching this, awesome. But I got an invitation via email from someone who asked me to come to speak in Montenegro. I've never been to Montenegro. I don't know anything about it. But apparently I met this person years ago when I spoke in Russia. And I'm talking like 6 years ago. So, the last couple of times I've done international travel, I've really come to realize that although the opportunity is great financially and all of that stuff and the impact that I could make, etc., I don't enjoy it as much. It's very hard on my body. It takes quite a long time for me to recover. I do have some anxiety, whatever, built into me around international travel. That's just my stuff. I do it anyway sometimes. But, but I really want to honor the promises and the commitments I make to myself about, this is not enjoyable to me. It's not, the money piece isn't enough to make me do something that I really don't want to do. So we've got that. So I think Lynn has phrased that question in public so that I will answer that issue. Clearly she sees this as something that could up-level me, and I am not seeing it that way. So until I see it that way, I don't know how I'm going to do. I haven't even asked the guy any questions about it. So I don't know. But here's the thing. So let's bring this one little isolated incident to you. Sometimes you will be given an opportunity that might bring you to now I'm clear on her context, that might up-level you or give you an opportunity or whatever, but you still have to check in with yourself and go, what is making me hesitate? Is it, just fears and stuff? Like I do know that part of it is just the general discomfort I have with international travel. Well, that's just my stuff. Okay. But the other part is this something, as I'm moving into a whole new area, as my priorities are changing, is this something I really want to do? Will this feed my soul? Will this make me happy? Will I be in an environment where I'll be able to give my full value? Because quite honestly, when I spoke in Russia, I had to be a very, very, very constricted version of myself. I couldn't use humor. There were topics of conversation I couldn't go down because they wouldn't get it, because it's just the language barrier or the cultural barrier. Do I get joy from doing this? If the answer is no, at this point in my life, I honor that above all. I honor that above all. And it can be called resistance or not, but to me it's clarity. All right, I'm going to turn off your comments for a second so I can hopefully refresh this. Yep, there we go. Boy, I missed a ton of questions. I'm really sorry, folks. I don't know what to do to make this update more. But let's take a look. Let's take a look at the updated questions. How do you release? Robin says, how do you release the feeling of insecurity? Well, see, there's no, again, with a lot of these types of questions, there's not like a cookie cutter answer. Oh, well, just push this button. I would need to know, well, where does the insecurity come from? A lot of times we have insecurity. It's almost like a protection mechanism. It sounds weird, but if you feel insecure about something, it's going to maybe stop you from moving into a danger zone, or I don't know. We need to find out what the nature of your insecurity is for me to be able to say, well, here's the best way to approach it. It might just be a mind shift change. You might want to do some releasing work like EFT or Sedona method or any of that stuff. It could just be an energetic, thing in there, or there could be a real issue there that you need some working through and some looking at. So there's no one quick answer to some of these questions. Okay, so Tammy says, and here's a really, 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 really common one, which again doesn't unfortunately have a cookie cutter answer, but is very common. And it's when I first learned about the law of attraction, it was working perfectly fine and immediately, but then it stopped. Why? If I'm still being grateful and thankful and asking. So, Tammy, first of all, you must eliminate the idea that it stopped working. Because the minute you plant that seed in your mind, there's doubt. Like it could turn on and off, that it's inconsistent. Well, you can't have faith in something like that if you think it's inconsistent. The minute you plant that seed that, oh my gosh, this may not work all the time, or this does, you've created the possibility for it to be very inconsistent in its delivery or whatever. And the thing is, it might have happened like one or two times, like you were used to things happening immediately. Well, maybe this one thing or two things or whatever that you were trying to attract, it just wasn't appropriate for it to happen immediately. In line with your full vision, maybe it's more appropriate that it landed a little bit later with a different set of people or different circumstances to honor what your true vision is. Not just that one little piece of, I want this thing to happen. Okay? And so what happens is we get on this, wow, everything's just happening like this. Well, if the timetable for this other thing is a little bit different than we expect consciously, and it doesn't show up in our timetable, then we start to have doubt. And then when the doubt starts, you just planted a seed that you water every single day. You keep looking around going, where is it? So now you've created a reality within yourself that the law of attraction might not work all the time. The law of attraction works all the time. It doesn't blip in and out of existence. If it did, so would the universe. Because we're all governed by this law of energetic attraction. The entire construction of the universe. So that's the first thing to realize. Okay, I've got to get this out of my head that it's not working. What might be happening here? Like I would ask you, well, what were the first couple of things that you noticed didn't show up immediately? And what were the significance to what was the significance of those things? Was it something that you might have considered big? Like, well, let's see if this works. Was it something tied into something that you may have an issue with, like a money thing or a relationship thing or whatever? Like you've got a pre-existing condition, right? That there might be some built-in resistance in there. To go back and find, what was that first couple of things that gave you that thought that, this may not be working? And let's look at those things and see what might be different or special or unique about those particular sets of circumstances. And not look at the law of attraction and go, well, it didn't work. It worked. Trust me. It doesn't stop working. Okay, so Caroline says it has to do with international travel. My hesitancy. It could be. Language barriers, all those things. It brings up a very little kid part of me because truly I did not travel outside the United States until after The Secret. Well, I went to Jamaica once and Canada, but that's not what we're talking about. In terms of going to a place where different languages, completely different cultures, way crazy different time zones, that happened after The Secret. And, growing up, I am heavily influenced by my mother. I know that's not true for any of you, but I am. She wasn't a big traveler. She had a lot of discomfort but when I was growing up, and I just learned that stuff. I don't blame her, I'm not angry at her about that. It's just that's what I learned. And so traveling internationally was a whole new thing and very uncomfortable and all of that. But I've done it. I've done it several times, and sometimes it's great, and other times it just beats the crap out of me physically, and I'm out of the game, for 2 or 3 days, and I'm just like, is this for money? Is this why I'm doing this? Right. All right. Let's see. All right. So Jory says she's with me on this. That's why I love Jory so much. I live with international pilots, and they don't think I should travel either. Too much stress, even though it is a minor. It doesn't serve me. I don't have fun. It's just tiring. Yeah. I just don't have time. It just doesn't. And but then Lynn, here's what Lynn brought up, and I'm just, we're all friends here, right? We can talk candidly. She said, well, I guess that means that, my dream of doing international travel with you, to vacation or whatever, isn't going to happen. And to me, it's a different thing. Traveling, like when we went to Punta Cana, I had my little discomfort about it, but Lynn and I have traveled to Punta Cana twice, and I had my basic discomfort, but it wasn't it wasn't the same thing. This is about work. This is about job. This is about me being me, stepping up to contribute value. And I'm just clear that I want to do it the way I want to do it from here on. That's why I'm doing the Bob Doyle Show. That's why I do these live broadcasts the way that I do. That's why I'm pulling back on my email marketing, all of it. I want to do it how I want to do it. And I don't want the dollar signs to pull me into a situation that's going to make me uncomfortable. Now, having said all that, I could get out there and have amazing time, meet key contacts. I could meet somebody in the VR space and it could change my life. All of that's possible. Anyway, I just got this email this morning. We don't need to rush this decision. Everybody just relax. I'll let you know if I'm going to Montenegro. Okay? All right, it's time for me to turn this off so I can refresh the page again and see what happens if it works. I just don't understand, like, why does scrolling up and down? But it works. It's like magic. Yeah. So Kyle says, how are we governed by the law? I don't really see it. Kyle, I'm going to have to ask you. Now, Kyle is a member of the Wealth Beyond Reason program. I'm pretty sure. I know he is. And all of that information is in there. All of the how the law of attraction works, how we're a part of it, how we can't unplug from it, how we're an energetic piece of this ocean that is the universe. That's all in there many, many times. And so, of course, we're governed by the law because we're a part of the energy that makes up the universe. And I go into great length about that, about the energetic nature of the universe. And I can't really repeat all of that here, but I've got video after video in the course, on YouTube, all of these places where I talk about how it's not, I don't know exactly how you're looking to see it, except look all around. Everything you see is energy. Everything you see is energy. It is what it is. It holds together how it is. It occurs to you as a reality for very specific reasons. The law of attraction is a big part of that. So you're looking at it every single moment of every day. It's all around you. It's holding your universe together. It isn't just about us getting stuff or any of it. It's much more than just how we use it. All right. Tammy is saying Caroline transformed the feeling of nervousness into excitement. I must have missed something about maybe nervousness about Vegas. Is that maybe what's happening? I'll find out later, and then maybe I could comment on here. But yeah, if you got anxiety around it or whatever, yeah, turn it into excitement. What's it going to feel like to be in Vegas? Have you visualized what that's like? Again, just kind of knowing the why. And then the next question would be like, well, what action have you taken in terms of Vegas? Like, what are you actually doing to make that happen besides just wanting to go? So that's something I would ask as well. So many questions. All right, I'm trying to refresh the comments again. All right, and it worked. Oh, you're welcome, Caroline. She's thanking me for my honesty. That's the great thing about this. Doing it this way. And this is why I hope you guys keep coming back here. Because I have to tell you, this is just honest. This is personal evolution for Bob. When I first started teaching the law of attraction, I am quite sure that I wanted everyone to be happy with what I was saying and that it was nothing but, positive and all of that. Like everybody would just interpret everything as possibility and great. But that's not necessarily how people will interpret it. And so what I've taken on this year, certainly, is just a real honest, direct approach to addressing law of attraction, answering questions and stuff with no BS and no trying to be nice about it. Sorry, Lynn. Like, here's the freaking answer. Here's how it is. Direct, honest, to the point, no BS. Because I have no attachment. That's the most amazing thing that's happened for me in terms of this law of attraction conversation, is although I have a great vision for people to get it and live the lives they want and have exactly what they want in their lives, but mostly to do what they love to do, I can't be attached to that everybody get it, that everybody love exactly what I say, that everybody agree with how I say it, because that's not going to happen. So I would much rather just be exactly how I am, and the people who like how I say it will hang out, and the other people go, ooh, he's a little harsh. We'll go buy a $37 program and be pacified for a while. Anywho. All right. So, but Kyle goes on to say, there are some things I don't see how I could be in resonance with something that come to me. Right. So I didn't attract this. There's no logical way. Kyle, look around, and this isn't just Kyle, this is everybody. Law of attraction and things showing up in your life is not about how you wanted it, how you put it on a list, how you put it on a vision board, any of that stuff. Are you in resonance with it? We get into resonance with things in so many different ways that are mostly unconscious, that you would never be able to analyze and figure out. How did I attract this? Because it's complicated. It's years and years of beliefs and observations and all of these things that go into this pool of things that could possibly happen to you. This is why I keep saying about the news and filling your head with, negative imagery or whatever for the sake of entertainment. All of these things go into your mind and your thinking pattern, become a part of your energetic system and affect your energy, period. Whether or not you consciously think about it or know it or not. So you get into resonance with things, not because you like them or want them, but it's just an energetic event. Now, the great thing about the law of attraction and learning about this is that this is all about how to intentionally get into resonance with something, how to intentionally take what's running automatically and shift it so that you can actually be in resonance with more of what you do want, as opposed to those things that you don't. But there are some things like the light switch on your wall, the ground, trees, all of these things. You're in resonance with all of them, or they would not be a part of your experience. This is the basic of law of attraction, guys. If you're not in resonance with something energetically, it can't be a part of your experience. It can't. Physics. So whether or not you know how you got into resonance with it or not, unfortunately, is irrelevant. It's great to know if there's something in your life that you don't like. How did this happen? If you can figure that out, or if you can look at it and go, okay, I can see, well, I watched this movie, it had me have a thought, I had a conversation with friends about it, we all agreed that this could happen, blah, 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 and it happened 20 years ago, but it's in my mind. So if there's something in your life that you're clear, you're in resonance with it, but you don't want to be, then you need to visualize a life where that is not a part of it and what that would feel like so that you can shift that energy or do some releasing around it. Do some energetic surgery with EFT or something and go in there and get that little piece. I mean, that's when we have patterns that show up in our life, the same relationships, the same jobs, the same jerks that live across the street. There's a pattern running. We are resonating with those things occurring, and until we change that foundational energy, they're going to keep showing up. So instead of saying, and again, Kyle, this isn't about just you. This is so many people. But instead of saying, I didn't attract this, the minute you do that, you have taken away all of your power. Well, if I didn't attract this, well then how is it there? If you don't accept responsibility for everything that's in your life, sorry, you don't get to play with attracting what you do want. Because you either know how this is working and you can adjust your vibration more intentionally, or it's just like, well, I didn't do this part. So it works up to this point, but it breaks here. It's not going to work. Look, there's plenty of stuff in my experience of reality that I am not thrilled with, guys. Lots of things, plenty of things. But I don't sit there and go, I didn't attract this. Hell yes, I did. So the question is, what do I need to do to shift this attraction process that I've got going on? And most of the time, the answer is going to be focus more powerfully on what you do want as an experience. Stop giving energy to these things you don't like by trying to figure out how they happened. You're just pouring energy into them. You're just making that magnet stronger and stronger and stronger. Forget that crap. What do you want? Think that way. And don't rush it. Because look, if you're just starting with this and you've got some doubts about it, especially if you've got any kind of idea that sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't, it's going to be a little bit slower for you than people who don't have any doubt whatsoever and know that it works. But don't give up on it just because it's not happening on your timetable. Things will get fast. Some things are going to be able to attract a lot faster than others because of whatever resistance you have around those things. But if you've got your vision, if you're solidly connected to your vision, and you know what that is, just trust it'll show up exactly at the right time. It's a very human thing for us to go, no, it has to happen next week. I've got a bill to pay. Well, the bill isn't there because, the bill's there because we've all agreed to live in this human experience. We're following societal rules. We bought something, now we got to pay for it. That's not, you can't blame the universe for that. All right. I'm going to refresh, maybe. Oh, Facebook. All right. Oh, sorry, I'm not sharing. All right, well, I got some agreement, and I'm not sure. Kyle's giving me a wah. I'm not, and then really Bob, so I'm not sure what he's saying there. But maybe he's not too happy with my answer. I'm used to that, and I stand by it, regardless. I think here's, let me, now that we're 36 minutes in, I thought I'd written this on another piece of paper. Anyway, there's this overall thing that we as humans deal with that has touched so many of these issues that have been brought up here today. There's what we've been given as a human, and then there's what we've done with it. As a human, we've been given the ability to create our reality. We have our imagination, we have our passions, we have the ability to visualize, we have the ability to take action, we have the ability to hear from the universe directly through our intuition. We've got the law of attraction. It's all right there. So if we just appeared here with the exact same abilities that we have right now, except without years and years and years of ideas of limitation and control, and you can't do this, and this is hard, and this is big, this is small. If we had none of that ever put into our brains and then forced home, or like, you don't have the power, this has the power, but you don't. All of that, thousands of years of that. So the only thing that's changed is not our potential, not what we can do, but what we're allowing ourselves to do energetically, because we piled on generation after generation of crap energy. It's all just energy and beliefs, etc. But it's having a major impact on what we can do. And look, we've signed up for this unknowingly. We buy into societal rules. We buy into what we are told is possible and impossible. We buy into what's hard, what's big and small. We believe all of this stuff to differing extents between some of us, and you'll see the people who don't buy into it as much as others because they're wildly successful, they're having a great time, and money flows effortlessly and easily, and they're in wonderful relationships, etc. And then you've got the other people who are just as smart, just as much potential, just as much creativity. It ain't happening because their beliefs and systems, they're all different. And it happened all mostly unconsciously. It's because you were born in this family who had these limitations. You lived in this community who had this set of beliefs. You lived in this country that had this set of beliefs or laws or whatever like this. But we're just humans. We've got brains, cells, all of this stuff, same connection to the universe. Every one of us has the same starting point. But culture and beliefs and all of that stuff has come in there generation after generation and created these very strong programs that are just screwing it up. And that's what complicates this whole thing. That's why people are like, well, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, blah, 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 blah. It always works. It's us as individuals who have the stuff to work on. We're the ones who need to adjust. It's not the law of attraction not working. It's just that we got to own, okay, we have this potential. When you know it, that's when you can see some differences. That's but if you don't know it, if you're just learning it, if you're just trying to figure it out, if you've heard about it, if you watch The Secret and that's it, but you've got years and years of, crap, limiting beliefs, evidence that you can't have, be, or do whatever you want, it's going to occur as harder for you. But you got the same building blocks as the most successful people. The only thing different was the environment, the information that was fed into you that wrote a program that is still running. All of it can be changed if you want it to be enough. So you have to see what that's costing you to hang on to your beliefs and your anger and your, I must be right about this, all of that stuff. No, these are my beliefs, this is what's true. Okay, well, you know they're not serving you, right? Well, this is just how it is, so let's get this law of attraction to work under these conditions. No. Anybody who's stuck in any kind of dogma like that is going to limit themselves. And like anything. I mean, it's just like, we really do have such unlimited potential. And some people out there in the world are showing it. They're living examples. Do you really think they're special, like they were born with some sort of a magical gem inside their skull that gives them the magic and you not? I don't think that. We're all on this journey to, well, we all have different reasons, but the whole idea is that we've got stuff to do. We know we want to do it. Stop concentrating on the money stuff and all that other, because all that'll come when you know what you want to do and you go out and do it powerfully without the idea that this isn't enough. So I don't want to hear from the artists and the musicians and the creative types who go, well, I am doing what I want to do, but I can't make any money. It's because you believe that. You bought into that. Look out in the world. There's lots of very, very wealthy musicians and artists. Okay. We are, let's get back into the action here. Kyle says, I think WR, but I really want to master this so I can have whatever I want. Kyle, that's great. And we all do. And thank you very much. But you can't rush it. Kyle, you're young. You are young, and your mind works differently than some of us who are older, and it works differently than some who are younger. But I'm telling you that if you can just breathe through this and understand that any sort of impatience around this is going to bite you in the ass. I know you want to master it. We all want to master it. We all want what we want, right? So what we do is allow, just allow. And a lot of times younger people, I'm not saying this is the case for you, Kyle, but a lot of times younger people, they just want it now. They're so used to instant everything that if it doesn't show up that way, well, I bought your program, I read it, where's my crap? It doesn't work that way. The program, all programs, mine, other people's, they're there to give you the education, the foundation. Now you have to integrate it, you have to take action on it, you really have to understand it. There's nowhere in my program that says you're going to get what you want overnight. Nowhere. I don't talk about time at all, except that you are not the ultimate determiner of it. You can speed things up a lot by letting go of how quickly it has to happen. Because any of this, it needs to happen now because it's what you're sending to the universe in that vibration is one that's more like desperation. It's total lack. So what you're really doing when you say, I need this now, is saying, I don't have this, which is what the universe is matching. You don't have this. Michelle says, I'm really working on my mindset at the moment as I get a bit stuck in the what's not working mindset rather than what do I want to feel. Yeah. And again, Michelle and everyone, that's something we've learned. We've learned this impatience. And we do live in a society where things are so quick now with the internet and whatnot. Instant gratification. I mean, I hardly order anything on Amazon anymore if I can't get same-day delivery. So look, I know what you're talking about. But yeah, the looking at the what's not working. Normally, we're going to look at something. There's going to be a point. We're going to start something. We're going to try something, and there's a certain amount of time that passes before we decide this isn't working. Well, that's our timetable. We made up that time, and I'm telling you that if you could enter into this thing with absolutely no attachment to when it happens, just a knowing that it will happen at the right time based on what your big vision is, you really allow so many more possibilities. Plus, a lot of times what we say that we want, what we're going for really is the feeling. I want everyone to stop what you're doing and listen to this right now. Are you listening? Have you stopped what you're doing? The things that you want, the things that you're going for, remember, The reason that you're going for them is not to just have this thing in your hand. That's not it. It's to have the feeling that having that thing you think is going to bring you. It's the feeling that you want. If it's money, it might be security, freedom, whatever. Relationship, it could be love. This car, it could be whatever it is. It's a feeling that you want. The universe is trying to match the energetic fingerprint, if you will, okay? The feeling. That's why we keep talking about how important the emotion piece of it is, okay? So it may not show up. The universe is trying to match what is going to bring you that emotion. It may not be that thing that you think you want that's going to bring you that ultimately. You think, if I get that car, I'll be happy. And so you visualize and you do all this stuff and you generate this feeling of happiness. The universe tries to deliver to match that. You're going, no, but, and maybe it shows you a different car. Or maybe it just sends you in a totally different direction completely. And you go, no, I want that car. And so your attachment to it having to be that way, that car, that person, that's the only one who will make me happy. That's what's slowing things down. Let the universe give you that or something better. This or something better. This is LOA 101. This or something better. So you don't get attached. So Caroline, you don't want to hate anyone. Wow, I'm really missing some stuff around Caroline because, man, the conversation jumps from Vegas to hating people. Or not wanting to. All right. I'm trying to refresh the questions again. Not a very stealth way of doing it. All I got is, okay. Yeah. So here it is. Kyle admitted it. So Kyle's 20. Does everyone remember 20? I do, ish. It was blurry, but I remember it. Pieces of it. But yeah, you want it now. You want it now. Kyle, 20 years old. Holy crap, you grew up with the internet and instant gratification. Of course you're going to want it now, right now. So I get it, and I'm just saying that mindset isn't serving you at the moment. But yeah, instant, and he's LOLing, so that's good. At least I haven't chased you off, Kyle. I don't mean to, because I know I'm kind of using you as this mass example. But you're bringing up great points that are really, really common for a lot of people, regardless of their age. You know, I want this now. Where is it? How did I bring this into my life? I didn't attract this. All of these points you're bringing up are awesome. They're universal, regardless of age. So just know that you have contributed to a lot of people here by asking your questions. So see, that's why I said, please bring it to the show instead of me answering you on private messages, because now everybody gets to benefit. Okay. All right, hold on. That's the one thing I don't like. I vanished there for a second, and I go off and somehow I don't know what happened. It updated by itself. This is so crazy. Go away, this thing. All right, let's see what else is happening. Dawn says, while I'm waiting for samples, etc., keep focused on the great feeling of helping people until it comes. Yeah, so Dawn's talking about something very specific, which I don't really understand. I don't know exactly what she's talking about. But yes, that's what I would say. Yes. And Terry says, allow with the knowing and no attachments. Yeah, with the knowing. And the knowing's the hard part, and that's why the Wealth Beyond Reason program exists. I'm not selling the Wealth Beyond Reason program here today. What I'm saying is that the reason I put that there is, so the reason that it exists is to talk about the science of this stuff, so you don't have to worry about whether or not you're guessing whether the law of attraction is real or not. Because that is a crazy crap waste of time if you try to use the law of attraction and you don't even trust it. Well, I'll try this vision board thing. Well, if you do that, then, you've just got all this resistance built in to the entire endeavor. So knowing that it is true is an important thing. That's why I put all that effort into creating the program that educates you on that. So that piece of it can just go away. So you're not ever thinking, is the law of attraction real? Because that, why even trying if you doubt that it's real? This is so big, the law of attraction. It's so much bigger than a personal development program or any of that stuff. wish I could get it through your heads. Michelle remembers 20-ish too. Good times. Was it good times? 20. I was in radio. I was still in Athens, Georgia, as a student at the University of Georgia. So, yeah, I can see why I wouldn't remember a lot of it. Alrighty. Oh, what am I doing? Sorry. Hovering over people's names and no, don't show that. That's the wrong thing. I pushed the wrong button. All right, so now we're back with Caroline, who says, well, first of all, let me address Misty. Misty, we were talking about you earlier. Did you know that? Were your ears burning? I talked about you because I noticed that on the last week's episode, you sent the angry emoticon. I'd never seen that in one of my broadcasts before. I've never seen anyone post the angry emoticon. And I don't know whether it was because you were angry at me because I didn't say hello, angry at me for some other reason, or you just didn't like my answer. But I have to know. So otherwise, I'm just going to sit here in this chair for the rest of the day and brood. But, so you started watching The Secret again last night. I haven't looked at The Secret. I think when Lynn and I first started dating, we sat in front of The Secret and she was just jumping around to my parts. Isn't that sweet? But every time we do that, I'm like, I forgot they were in there. I'm not going to say who I forget, but I haven't watched it since then, and I think I've seen the whole thing all the way through 4 times maybe. But every time I watch it, I go, I forgot they were in there. So I clearly haven't met them all yet, but yeah, it's. So do you have the version with or without Esther Hicks, Misty? Caroline needs to trust the law of attraction a lot more. Well, it will only serve you if you do, obviously. Again, look, guys, the thing is, you're not necessarily trusting that the law of attraction is real or knowing that it's true doesn't automatically make you happy about how it's showing up in your life all the time, because we do have our resistance, and sometimes we do think we're doing everything right, and it's still not working, and that's why we come to these things, so we can try to get at why it's working. But trusting that it is working, like the quantum mechanics are in place, and they're not stopping just because of you, is a very good first step to getting things headed in the right direction. So yeah, if you have a built-in lack of trust for the law of attraction, well, good luck. It's going to be hit or miss for you. But again, there's so much freedom and power for taking responsibility for things exactly as they are, regardless of how much you do not like them. Because the minute you say, well, this was out of my hands, completely out of my hands, well, then you've given up your power to change it. And that's completely against all of these amazing abilities that we've been born with. Why do you think, this is so basic for me, but to go back, why do you think we'd be born with passions and imagination and visualization capabilities and this communication that is undeniable that we get with the universe? Some of us may poo-poo it, call it coincidence, whatever. But we all get those messages, those little nudges, those dreams, those coincidences. We get them all the time. You can deny them if you want to. Fine. You've just taken away some of your power. Look, I think there's a lot of people who need their powerlessness. Because being powerful is too much. It's much easier for these people to be powerless, blame everybody for their circumstances, and get to go through their entire lives being right about being unhappy, being in poverty, compromising, whatever. But they get to be right. How much is being right costing you? That's the question of the day. I'm letting it sit there. How much is the need to be right costing you? And I'm not just talking about with conversations with other people, but just about life. Things just don't work for me. Okay, well, you're right. How's that working for you? Right? So, Ask yourself that question a few times a day. When you have any sort of limiting belief about yourself or whatever, so much of it is about, but I get to be right about that. See, no one is buying my stuff. No one is listening to me. See, I'm right. And the more you argue for that, the more Lynn Rose will walk into your room while you're broadcasting. That's 100% approval rating. That's not what I'm looking for. Anyway, we got to get some security around here. I'm kidding. She's getting a whiteboard. She's clearly getting ready to do something. And as a bonus, Cody walked in. So now everybody she's sticking her tongue out at me. Too bad I can't turn the camera around on her right now. She would be mortified. But I've got my dog with me, so everything is cool. He's licking up my nose. I'm looking like a fool. Hey. Yeah. So, look, basically what I'm saying is if the law of attraction isn't working for you, get a dog in your lap and everything will be fine. It's working whether you work it or not. Bye. Lynn Rose, ladies and gentlemen. Let's hear it for her. Let's hear it louder. All right, I'm going to do one more refresh because we are up at the top of the hour here. I'm going to see if there's any more last-minute questions, comments, etc. Oh, Caroline, you are right. You are right. He is a cutie. Let's look again. And it's possible that he may just have me wrapped around his little tiny paw. This is the stuff of life, folks, right here. All right, so but let me just, enough about the dog for a moment. Kelly, you've just hit the nail on the head. Lost my job, and then my husband lost his job. It's 3 years since we both worked. Don would rather be happy than right. Yes. I got to tell you, I will share this with you as we close. You know, one of the things, so I was married 25 years. And I definitely had the need to be right. And to the extent where it's like, you know, there was no other option except that I was right. Was I happy? No. When I would be in an argument or a disagreement or whatever, and I was stating my position, I had to be right more than anything, and it cost me so much. Yeah, so Terry and Dawn are all on the rather be happy and feel good than right train. So I hope that that's not just something you're saying on the broadcast, but that it is a truth for you in your life forever. All right. Let's see. I meant to refresh that real quick before. All right. Well, here we go. Last one. This is the last round of questions before I end. So, first of all, love is key, yes. What's the time delay that was talked about in The Secret? Well, the time delay is, in my mind, the way that I describe it, is the level of resistance you have. Or how appropriate it is in time for something to come to you. Again, you may want something this week and feel like it has to happen this week. But it's part of a big vision that you have that this is just a piece of. And if you got it this week, it may not work right. It may not play into, you may get that instant gratification if I got it this week, but it's too early. It's not, you weren't supposed to get it this week. You're supposed to get it next week when you go to that thing and meet that guy who knows that gal who's set up with that company who's going to blow your company and your success wide open. If you get it this week, that meeting will never happen. Just as an example. So the time delay is perfect for wherever you are energetically in relation to what your vision is. That's what that is. Ryan, I've heard you say before that we can ignore money. I'm not sure I said that. So that would be focusing on the ends and end only and not the money. Would this be the same for something like clarity? Just do something that feels right and know that it will come. Well, first of all, let me just say, I don't know that I use the word ignore money. Now, not thinking about the money, not focusing on the money, thinking about the end result, which I think is what you're saying there, then yes, especially if you have stuff around money. Now look, not everybody does. Some people have a great relationship with money, and thinking about money brings it in. That's how they get into resonance with it. Most people, it's not like that. Most people, it's like, I need money. I need money. That's resistance. So that's why we say don't focus on the money. But for some people who don't have a money-related resistance issue, it's not a problem. They can think about money all they want because it'll just come, right? So that's how that works. So it's not a blanket. Don't ever ignore money. Doesn't work either because money's there. You can't ignore it. It's part of our society. It's part of what we do. But I'm not quite sure I understand the same for clarity. Like, I don't think you're asking me if I ignore clarity. Just do something that feels right and know that it will come. I don't know if I can address that question exactly as it was asked. I'm a little confused. And we are 1 minute late. But I'll tell you what, Ryan, send me a private message or whatever if you can clarify that, and then I will answer that in the comments here somewhere. I will address that. All right, well, me and my new theme for this are out of here. You guys asked great questions. Thank you, Kyle, for bringing in a bunch of great stuff. I appreciate that very much. And Caroline, hang in there. Get out to Vegas when it's perfectly appropriate. And as for the rest of you, just keep doing what you love. Let go of attachment. Trust. Know, K-N-O-W. And just let it happen. And I will see you next Wednesday at noon Pacific, right here.